Good evening. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Hawg Talk podcast, presented to you by Vision Exteriors. Coming to you live from the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios, part of the Believe in Buzz Radio Network, where you can hear us each week on 106.7 Buzz 2 in Central Arkansas. All live shows are coming to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I'm Porter Hayes. Alongside me, as always, is Adam Hall. Tonight, we have a stacked show for you. Talk about the controversy over the $10 service fee for the spring game. Arkansas baseball, softball, big matchups this weekend. And Talon Green was on with John Gruden. And the question we ask is, should Talon Green consider a switch to wide receiver? We'll just get started with that. Also, before we begin, we got portal news to talk about, and is Arkansas shaping up to have the same type of roster next season as they did this year? But Talon Green, Adam, on with John Gruden. I watched a couple people's takes on this. What I got from watching DJ Williams' breakdown of this video and the video itself is Gruden was pretty much just, hey, look, man, you have the metrics, you have the numbers, you have all the skills of somebody who can transition to a wide receiver in the NFL, and he pretty much shut it down. What was your takeaway from that? And do you think Talon should consider consider switching to wide receiver?
I think it should be considered, but at the same time, I mean, if he wants to stick to his guns and stay at quarterback, I mean, I'm okay with that. It's obviously, his choice, his career. I don't see, and this is no knock on Talon Green, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't see Talon Green being a starting NFL quarterback. I also don't know if I see him being a starting wide receiver in the NFL, but that's just because we've never seen it.
Yeah,
it can be done. I think he would have better luck getting on the field as a wide receiver than quarterback, but I just don't see him having a NFL career as a starting quarterback.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you have somebody in John Gruden's pretty much telling you, I've dealt with offenses. And you look at the talent that came out of last year's draft and how many of them had successful years last year. How many quarterbacks are going to be in this year's draft, and how he's, evaluating the tape, and he's being nice. And again, there's a difference when you're saying no knock, but yet you're kind of telling somebody what you're seeing. Not everybody's going to be a good quarterback. Not everybody's a great quarterback. Not everybody is a good football player. You could be a good college quarterback or a good college player, but not transition to the NFL. And it's no knock. And I think that's what happens is sometimes in a society today, we get walk on eggshells, or we're too afraid of hurting people's feelings when it's the truth. It's different if you're just being outlandish and being ignorant and saying, oh, you suck. But if you're looking at his transition, he did not progress in year two against under Bobby Petrino. Yes, he is great with his legs, but there was a lot of throws that he still couldn't make. Mm-hmm. Can't throw the deep ball, cannot throw on the run. So there's things when you look at what it takes to be an NFL quarterback, you have to be an elite college quarterback. You weren't even top half of your class in the SEC as college quarterbacks. Yeah, you put up the numbers, your offense put up numbers, but when you really watch the tape, and DJ Williams watched his breakdown, I mean, there's a lot of times I'm iffy on him or not. Don't agree with everything he says, but I think he was spot on from what he was saying about Talon Green and his throws and the progression. And when you have somebody telling you straight up, like, man, hey, look, it'd be nice if you would consider it. And I think he could have skated around it and said, yeah, I'd consider it. But how he stood 10 toes down and was like, no, it's not even a consideration. I thought that is not a good look, because you've got to go through these progressions and these interview processes, and how many people are watching that interview because when you're in their interview room and you're listening to them, of course, you're going to be buttoned up. You're going to have the PR. But when you're on a raw interview setting like that, they're seeing more of who you are in that type of setting opposed to who you are when the draft process comes around.
Mm-hmm. And Transplanted Texan, to answer this, is it possible that he was being told things about the quarterback game by coaches and refused to implement them as well? I mean, that's a strong possibility. We've had issues, or say he's had issues with Reed's progression for more than one season. It wasn't something new, and it was nothing that really seemed to develop. Or if there were sightings of it, you get a little glimpse like, okay, it's finally clicking. It's this, then Talon of old would come out. So I think that there's maybe a mental barrier there when it comes to implementing these things. And we live in, I wouldn't say that Bobby Petrino was a yes man by any means, because we all know that he's not. But there was something missing there. I just look at it like, if playing professional sports is what I ultimately want to do, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to stay relevant and stay there. If that means I need to switch positions, that's what I'm going to do. It's one of those you have to kind of, I don't even know the phrase I'm looking for. Basically, you have to kind of suck it up and
you got to grow up.
Set your ego aside for a minute and realize,
swallow your pride.
If I want, swallow pride. If I want to be a professional athlete, I've got to put it all aside and make a change. Because, there's not a whole lot of quarterbacks out there like Brandon Allen who can find a new team or find a team for every year or two, as long as he has. Or even if you go into some of the other backup quarterbacks in the NFL, I think like one I'm thinking of is Josh Johnson. He's been at Baltimore. I think he's the one that's been on like almost every team in the NFL, or 19 or 20 of them, or some ridiculous number. But there's these guys that are career backups, and that's perfectly fine. But I don't know. If I was given this opportunity, kind of like Felipe Franks did, I would look at switching positions, because Felipe Franks, I mean, he's not on the field every single game, but he's still making roster.
And how much do they make a year? What, 400, 500,000 a year?
More than that. And then when you get to the part where you're considered a veteran and you're getting the league minimum, I mean, you're getting 2.5 mil or something like that. So he's got to swallow his pride.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at practice players. Practice players for a full 18-week regular season get $234,000. And you could get up to $396,000. See the comment, not recognizing it. Good try, Greg. But anyways, $396,000 to be a practice player. To me, it's like you're talking about swallowing your pride. When you get to the point of, I understand you're going to go try to do this, but you at least have to consider it when they're telling you pretty much, if you consider the change, somebody might draft you. Look at Matt Jones. Got drafted as a wide receiver, first round, as a wide receiver, because they seen his metrics and what it would translate to. He's seen the bag and he went for it. Now, if it panned out or didn't pan out, that is up to what happens after he hits that door. Look at Eric Crouch, Heisman Trophy winner. They wanted him to switch positions. He was not a quarterback in the NFL. You went from Heisman Trophy to never made it on the football field because he decided to step away from the game. But the thing is, you got to go where you can transition your game. But there was even talk of Felipe Franks being a tight end. So there was also those talks of that. And I believe
that's what he is
right there.
Yeah, he's been with the Panthers and the Falcons as a tight end.
And now what is he doing? He's you got to get to the point where Taylor Green thought he could do everything with his legs. And, it's like those kids in Little League that are the star. They get to 7th grade, they're still the star. But when everybody starts catching up to them, now they're not as much as the star as they used to be. You get to the SEC and then you get to the NFL, he's just another average quarterback in the SEC. That don't even transition to a decent quarterback in the NFL. Because what are we seeing more so now than ever? Yeah, you're going to have a zone read, but they're going back to this pocket. They're going back to throwing. They're running a little zone read, but it's not this. The kid from Georgia a long time ago that ended up Quincy Carter, I believe that was his name. The one that was Georgia dual threat ended up playing for the Cowboys a long time ago. He was dual threat, but I think his name was Quincy Carter. Somebody know.
Well, Quincy Carter was the Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
Okay, yeah.
I just don't know where he went to college.
I think he was at Georgia, but
yeah,
he was a good Georgia quarterback. But you get to the NFL and it does not transition. You look at, Vic. You could go Lamar Jackson, Randall Cunningham. You have to be a freakish athlete to be able to transition that. Jalen Hurts can be considered a good quarterback now, but look at Tim Tebow, one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time, flamed out in the NFL when it comes to being a quarterback because his game didn't transition. So that's where I think Gruden's like, okay, we've seen 150 of you come through the college ranks, and and there's other people who feel like you should try at least to go to the wide receiver. And again, 42.5-inch vertical, 6'6", 230. What was his 40 time? 4.37, something like that.
It was in 4.3s, yeah.
Why not at least give it a shot if that's going to get you drafted and give you a chance to pursue your dream to get to the NFL?
If I'm a team that's looking at him and we have a conversation and you can't, hey, I'm going to draft you as a quarterback, but you're going to be, you're going to work out as both. We're going to see what works better, whatever, you're going to come to our system. If he won't back off that, no, I'm not going to work out at wide receiver, then I'm not drafting you.
Yeah. And this is the biggest thing. And this is, we don't have to put it up on a poll, but it's tough because I know it's his life and it's his decision. But at what point does it go from his life to his decision to, is this a form of entitlement? Is it a form of you're just that stubborn that you're going to go the route of I'm going to try to make it as a quarterback? That Kurt Warner deal, where everybody told him he'd never make it. He's a grocery bagger. He's an arena football star. And then he goes to the Super Bowl. We see these caveats of these one-off situations where people make it. And yes, it does strive people to do their best. But at some point you got to be like, okay, they're giving me an opportunity to get to the NFL. Why not give it a shot? Mm-hmm. You can always retract back and be like, okay, this isn't working out. I want to try to be a backup quarterback. Greg was talking about Tyler Wilson. Tyler Wilson, another one that, dude, he got thrown into the fire in college ranks, and then he went to a crappy team in the NFL and just got his brains beat in. That's what happens when you get drafted to crappy situations. I think he needs to at least consider it. Now, I'm not telling him to be a wide receiver, but by God, if that's going to get me a 2nd-round draft pick or a 3rd-round draft pick compared to I'm going to be an undrafted free agent and I'm going to be trying to find a home 10 years down the road and I'm not making it on a squad, I'm continuing to bust my tail at, I don't even know how much they get paid at training camp, but you go to these training camp and then you never make a roster. How much of that can you really take?
I
think that's what's going to happen. Honestly.
Ultimately, I guess he could end up in the UFL. Or go up to Canada. Those are options if he's gung-ho on quarterback or nothing. I just look at it like I said, if I've got the opportunity to continue my dream to play professional sport, I'm going to be willing to switch positions. Because what's more important, playing professional sports, playing professional football, playing in the NFL, or playing quarterback you got to look at it like, hey, I'm either going to play in the NFL point blank period, or I'm not going to play, because I think that I should only be quarterback. It's just kind of like what's the bigger, what's worth more to you?
I'm trying to. How old's Talon?
23, 22.
He's 23 years old. So when you look at yourself at 23 and you have this, and the only reason why this is an issue to the people listening is the fact that how he answered it and how he was like, no, not at all. That's where I have the issue. And because I think when you look at yourself 10, 15, 20 years down the road, you're like, I wish I would have gave that a shot. I wish I would have went, because if this doesn't pan out, nobody drafts you because of your stance. Because if you're saying this on an open forum, now you can't walk that back. You don't think that's not going to be the first thing that they ask you now when you get in these NFL interview rooms? Because if they're wanting to invest millions in you, hey man, if we invest this $1 million contract in you or $3 million in you, and we bring you in, and things aren't panning out as quarterback, would you consider moving over to wide receiver? And you're saying, no, they're going to find somebody else. And that's the investment. They're not going to invest in you if you're not willing to invest in them. And that's the message I get, is he is not willing to do whatever it takes to get to that. And honestly, Adam, I think a lot of it is the fact, and just a little bit, I may be reading too much into it, is the fact that you get these transfer portal players that come into a situation like Arkansas and you're just given the reins. KJ Jefferson was just given the reins, and you have this sense of entitlement of, you're it. What else can Arkansas do other than me? Could Arkansas do better than me? And you get this mentality of, I'm going to do my own thing, because they're not going to bench me. They're not going to do this, because look at the gap between me and the second string quarterback. So then that transition to, you think you can overcome this in the NFL, and it's not going to work out. And I feel sorry for him, because you have people, again, DJ Williams played in the NFL. John Gruden coached in the NFL, kind of telling you, bro, just consider it. And if he's not willing to consider it, I think that's not going to look good on draft day. And we're going to see him being in UFA, undrafted free agent, and signing on some kind of roster spot somewhere else.
I would just look at it like, hey, say that you're willing to look at being a wide receiver, whatever, just to get your foot in the door with a team. And then you get into training camp, get into practice, and then show them if you're better at one or the other. I mean, it's just one of those, like, get your foot in the door and then figure it out. But just going in gung-ho on, no, this is not going to happen. All right, so you don't want to be a team player. Got it. That's all I needed to know.
Yep. Speaking on football, and this is going to be our next topic, is spring game. There was a little bit of controversy come up about the spring game and how much it costs to get in. Should they even be paying it all? And I'm going to pose the question, would you pay the $10 if you didn't want to sign up for the Razorback Foundation emails, if you didn't want to be spammed? Would you pay the $10 to go to the spring game? Would you pay the $10?
If I was gung-ho, like, I want to go see this new coach, this team, and get a Justin Moore concert, if that's still a thing, sure. But you're now wanting to charge $10 to a game that's normally been free, or charge a minimum of $50 if you're an adult that's not a college student, to sign up for the Razorback Foundation. Here we go, Hunter Yurachek once again. Here we go, taking something that was free for the fans away from them so that you can get a little bit of money. I hope that people show up to watch Justin Moore perform and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just ridiculous to me that you would charge money for a spring game like this when you haven't even been able to fill the stadium when it's free. even 50%. I mean, how long's it been since that stadium has been 50% capacity for a spring game? Years. Absolutely.
I can't remember.
And now you're wanting to charge $10. No, screw that. Once again, here we go. Hunter Yurchek, you're taking things, like I said, free. I mean, hell, we can't even have free parking anymore. Not even one lot with free parking. And now you want to charge $10 to a spring game that you have problems getting fans in the seats. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the fact too, oh, hey, let's sign up for the Razorback Foundation and then you'll get in for free. That's $50 minimum. So why, it's one of the most ridiculous things that I've seen this week.
So this is what John Neighbors tweeted, and he was talking about got clarity on the spring game tickets. If you're a Razorback Foundation member, it's free. If you're not a Razorback Foundation member, you have to sign up for Razorback Foundation updates first, and then it's free. So think about, let's walk through the scenario. You're walking up to the gate, and then you have to sign up. All right, now you got to get on your phone. And not just you, this has got to be everybody. So is this per ticket? Is these kids? Is this family? I mean, the clarity, but it's not really clear. What happens to the minors? What happens to the kids? Is this just the parents? And then, okay, well, if I signed up, and does that cover my family?
No, you need to sign up your kid. That's $15 for kids to sign up for the Razorback Foundation.
Yeah. So this is just to sign up for updates, is what this says. You don't have to sign up for the membership. This is you have to sign up for the Razorback Foundation updates. So spamming emails and text messages and stuff. It's a marketing scam. Yes.
I thought it was like you had to get a membership.
Yes. Well, and this is going off of what he said. But even if it's this membership, how does that cover my family? So if I was to go to the spring game and I do this Razorback Foundation and I want to get updates, it's free. But what about the kids? But even if the hassle of it, it's almost like you're signing into you want to watch Netflix and I come to your house and I'm house sitting and you have all the credentials wiped off your TV and I'm trying to sign in and I forget my password. That's the frustration when it comes to going up. You're trying to get signed up for this new thing and these updates just to watch the spring game. But it's so you can get a $10, it's almost like a $10 coupon for the free game. And if you're not a Razorback Foundation member and you refuse to sign up for the Razorback Foundation updates, then you have to pay $10 per ticket. And then he goes on further. If you walk up to the stadium and want to get them for free, they have a QR code you scan to sign up for Razorback Foundation updates. And if you flat out don't want to do that, you have to pay $10 for a ticket. And I'm with you, Adam. I think this whole thing is ridiculous. If we were in a different era of Razorback football, if we were in a different era of our athletic director not wanting to embrace NIL, he wants to run this raffle to the ground. He wants to do all these idiotic things, but he wants us to pay $10. And then we are kind of in a way a victim if we say no. And this is where I will disagree with Neighbors. He's saying, I would pay the $10. It's worth it, in my opinion. It's not about, is it worth it? It's the principle of you're going up there. I'm sure parking's free and we're giving you this, but you're going to see a glorified practice. It's not even, if this were to be like, hey, we're going to do a scrimmage game against UAPB or the opening game, and you want to do it, I could see that. But this is a glorified scrimmage that they're not going to tackle. They're going to be barely doing this, doing that. And to me, it shouldn't even be an option. Let people come see these people for free, especially you're coming off a 2-10 win season, new coach, new players. We don't know what we're going to get. If this was a good team, then maybe. But no, again, like he's done all year, his whole thing. Read the room. I just think it's ridiculous.
Well, and in the world that we live in, and those that are technologically disadvantaged. Good luck for some folks trying to figure out how to scan a QR code.
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand that it's easy, but at the same time, there's a lot of folks that just don't know. So y'all gonna have volunteers standing around showing people how to scan it? I doubt it. So good luck with that. Oh yeah, it wouldn't shock me either if something happens that the internet goes down around the stadium, and then people can't scan the QR code or it's not working right, and then it's sorry, then you can pay $10.
Over or under on people who get arrested for trespass. I mean, there's going to be somebody crash out. There's going to be somebody that crashes out. There's going to be that one person that gets in and somebody in their group does it, and they're going to absolutely crash out. Somebody's going to have it. Somebody is going to record it, and it is going to be glorious because the fact that this shouldn't even be an issue that you're willing to you squeeze. I mean, it's just Hunter squeeze a check. I think that's what we need to start calling him. Hunter squeeze a check. You're just going to squeeze everything out of that thing you can get. And this is just another thing where give the fans a chance to come watch this team for free, no hassle, put on a good show, and put out a better product. Be a better athletic director. How about that? Quit punishing the fans. Because that's all the fans are doing. And I know it's $10. But by God, that's $10 that they don't want to give you.
Well, and the families that struggle to begin with, hey, I can take my kids to the spring game because I can't afford tickets during the regular season. I mean, it's all a money grab, and it shouldn't be this way, but it is. I'm not surprised. At the same time, go find another school.
Yeah.
I mean, go find another job at this point.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm not going to laugh at the attendance. I'm not going to, because look, this is for the fans. This spring game's for the fans. It's for the players and the staff to go out there and get out in front of the fans and have a good show with Justin Moore. It's a lot of it's our frustration with the athletic director. It's our frustration with this whole athletic program, how it's run, piss poor. They could be doing 10 times better than what they are. And then the fact that anytime they could find any type of way to get more money. And I think a lot of it really what irritates me is the whole, we're only charging you $10. You should be grateful. Or they're making people feel bad for even saying, no, I'm not going to spend that money. I think that's what rubs me the wrong way is, well, it's worth it. You should pay it. And I can't get down with that.
No, not at all.
So what we're going to do, we'll take a quick commercial break. Hear a word from our sponsors over at Vision Exteriors. After the break, we'll break down baseball, softball, huge series this weekend. And we'll start next segment off with the portal news, talk a little bit about the two guys that have signed and pose the question. Is Calipari going to end up having the same style of roster this upcoming season as he did last year? And what does that mean for their tournament hopes and how far they can get in the tournament? We'll be right back after a break. Looking to enhance your home's curb appeal? Look no further than Vision Exteriors. As your trusted roofing, siding, and exterior experts, we're here to transform your property. Our skilled team ensures your job is not only functional, but also aesthetically pleasing. Along with roofing, we also offer window, gutter, and siding installation to boost your home's appearance with our quality options. Visit us at www.visionexteriors.com or call us at 479-397-4770. Let's make your vision a reality. And welcome back to the show. And we talked about before the break, talking about basketball. Before that, Arkansas baseball, softball, huge series this weekend. Baseball, Georgia, very, very, very important. You talk about getting back in the rankings per perfect game, kind of proving that last week was not a fluke. I think it's one of the deals we talked about last week. Is the baseball team going to rebound? Is this the turning point that they needed for this program for this season? And I think this is going to be a good testament. Not necessarily saying they need to win the series. I want to see how they compete, how they play against Georgia, and then of course softball. I mean, Oklahoma. What can you say? Courtney Deifel and squad going to Norman to take on Oklahoma, the best home run hitting team in the nation. Big showdown for them. It would be huge for softball to get, that daunted win over OU. They struggled against Alabama, the top two teams. They play OU and then the second rated team in the SEC, Alabama. But it's one of those deals where you have the baseball program, Adam, that is proving that they're still there. And then you have a softball program that's still trying to find a way to get to Oklahoma City. And I think a statement win or playing it tough, even if they both lose the series this weekend, I think really playing strong and competing very well will go a long ways in how far these teams are going to advance in the postseason.
Definitely both have daunting tasks ahead of them. I think that softball is in a better position to win on the road in Norman. I feel like Georgia may come in after losing the series at Florida with a bit of a chip on their shoulder.
Yep.
So it's a matter of which teams are going to show up. 100 Eats, I believe, is starting tonight for Arkansas against Georgia. I believe 7 p.m. on ESPNU.
Yes.
100 Eats leads the SEC in strikeouts. So I think this is going to be a series on what's going to give. Georgia didn't hit any home runs against Florida, and they ended up losing. So I think that something that you try to limit is the wind going to be in favor for Georgia tonight. Who knows? So Arkansas, is I heard this on Chuck and Bo this morning. Since SEC play has started, Georgia's only hit 25 home runs and Arkansas's hit 20. So I think it's a matter of, like I said, the bend don't break, and can our pitching staff show up?
Yeah, that's a big one. On the mound tonight for Georgia, Joey Balchko, 6-1 on the year, 3.38 ERA. He has 49 strikeouts on the year, giving up 2 home runs and 21 walks. And as you said, 100 Eats for the Razorbacks, 3-2 on the year, 3.61 ERA. He struck out 78, and he's only walked 17. So strategy-wise you're getting into these Friday guys. And for Georgia, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of your 10 guys, 9 guys hitting over 300. Arkansas has Carter Rutenbar at 342, Cam Kozels 308, and Damian Ruiz, who is back in the lineup at 327. So, yeah, batting 327, but this is the first time he's back in the lineup tonight. He is listed in left field, so he will be playing. Let's see what kind of impact he has. I know coming back, throwing him right back into the lineup against Georgia, it's going to be a lot to carry. But if we needed him, more importantly, with his bat, now's the time. And
he played in the last series.
What's that?
He played in the last series. He
Okay.
came back, so this won't be his first one, but him being back definitely helps. But yeah, like Matt says here, keep UGA in the park and just make contact. That's I think home runs or the lack of home runs in this series will be huge.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is just keeping that momentum going. Look at how you played against Bama, how you on the road, and how you really proved us wrong by sweeping them. And now you got to come in again and do it again against Georgia. That's where you're at. You've kind of put yourself, behind the 8 ball. You've kind of put yourself at a corner of every series from here on out really matters the most, of trying to get back in that top spot, trying to get, back in the top of the rankings, trying to get that regional, super regional bid. Is it too late to get the super regional bid? We don't know that. A lot will be told after this weekend. when it comes to that. I wouldn't even be discussing the way they've been playing. I wouldn't even be discussing super regional bids right now. You just really want to be trying to host a regional at this point, then work your way back up top 8 seed.
Definitely.
So, and then again, softball, they play tomorrow night at 7, Saturday 7, and then Sunday at 1 p.m. Robin Aaron, I mean, incredible pitcher. I mean, this is going to be a very tough test for her. One of the top pitchers in the league going up against the top team in the country. And again, at OU, I would really like to do the research and see what their home record is the last 5 years, but it'd be remiss to be able to count on two hands how many times they've lost at home. And then, of course, having the College World Series right there in your backyard at Oklahoma City has a huge advantage as well.
Oh, absolutely.
But finish up the night going to basketball. Arkansas got two big names in the portal. Cooper Bowser from Furman, averaging 13 points, 13.8 points, 5 rebounds, almost 6 rebounds a game. And then Jeremiah Wilkinson, averaging 17 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, shooting 41% from the field, but 35.7% from the 3-point line. So I posed the question, to me, when you look at the stats, you got a guy averaging 13 and 6. That just shows me he coming from Furman. Are we setting up for the same type of situation, having the same kind of roster as a Ewan and Pringle when we get a guy like Bowser?
I think we'll have a similar roster. Bowser, I feel like to me, I feel like there's a little bit that there was a lot more expected of him at Furman, and I know he dealt with injury and other things. I think the thing that stands out with him for me is his rebounds. I feel like he should have more. I wonder if he should come in and try to put on 10, 15 pounds.
Yeah.
So being 6'11", 215 or whatever he is, close to that, I think he needs to put on a little bit of weight. And I mean, he's going to have to up his rebounds. That's something that was a glaring stat for me. Jeremiah Wilkinson, dude's a scorer. And I think he averaged like 1.6 steals a game. So he doesn't average much assists. He's not distributing, but he's a bucket getter. So I think he's one that good replacement for DJ Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's going to be that he's coming off the bench, I think that because of the buckets that he can get, he's that spark off the bench that Arkansas has needed in the past. So he's one that I will look to see some big things for, some big shots, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. The big thing is when you look at Wilkinson, I mean, he scored 30 against St. Louis in the loss there in the first round. He had 28 against Vanderbilt, 19 against Texas, 19 against Kentucky, LSU. I mean, 32 against Ole Miss, 31. So he is a legit scorer. I mean, 20. I'm looking through here. I mean, 26, 20 points, 22. So there was numerous games he scored over 20 points. So that's going to be a good thing for him to come in. And if you're wanting, you're talking about DJ Wagner. We wanted DJ Wagner to be a little bit more of a scorer. Well, if this is what we get from that, if this is what that version is, I'll take it, because what did we want from DJ Wagner? We wanted more scoring. If you're going to come in with this guard heavy roster and then you throw in Jeremiah Wilkinson, if he could give you, I mean, you shave 5 points off of that. If you could give us 12 points a game, I'll take that. I mean, he scored. We just know he's not going to get 17 points with this guard lineup. He's not going to get that. Mm-hmm. But if he could come in and give us 10 to 12 a game, every game, guaranteed, I think either you're going to have to get another bid, can get you the double-double, or you have a guy that can come in and give you 10, 15 every night at guard. weighed 229 on
9.
campus, missed January toe injury. Okay. So
there is upside to it. I just think in the world that we live in now, and you and I discussed this of one of the posts you had sent me earlier in the week. I mean, bigs are being extremely overpaid. Everybody's being overpaid, but bigs especially. So this is one that I think Cal's obviously trying to find alternatives to paying somebody $4 million. So we'll see if it works out. I still think you got to figure out when and if Malik Ewan's coming back, and I mean I'd still be looking at 1 to 2 more bigs to get on your roster.
This is a thing too. I'm looking at Bowser's stats this last year. I mean, I'm trying to find a game that was notable outside of they played UConn round 1. He had 9 points. Played 31 minutes, 5 shots. Now he shot 3 or 4, so 75% the free throw line. So had 5 rebounds, but 9 points again. That's I mean, you want to go to the NCAA tournament. That's the only competition really you played because I mean, East Tennessee State 21 points, Western Carolina. I know again it goes. Furman's a small school in South Carolina. So I mean, Bob Jones, he had 24. 16 against Northern Illinois or Northern Iowa, I believe, UNI. So here's the deal with that is now, how is that transition to big boy ball? And we've seen Division I stars come over to Arkansas and struggle. So we know we need him really, really, really step up. But the thing is, him coming from Furman, him coming up in competition, maybe that hunger's there. Maybe that is, hey, look, I'm trying to prove that I am a Division I basketball player. So maybe that will help out. But Adam, I want to ask you, the price tag of these bigs, I mean, is Coach Cal, even with all the Tyson money in the world, is it almost you're having to pick and choose? Do you want to go guards or do you want to go bigs?
Yeah, I mean, kind of pick and choose and hope you find a diamond in the rough. I mean, I don't feel like, I mean, I know JT Toppin got hurt. I just don't see how you can blow your whole NIL budget or half of your NIL budget on one player.
Yeah.
So it's finding a middle ground, finding international players that don't require NIL. It's definitely a balancing act. So I don't think there's a true answer because, I mean, obviously coaches are figuring it out, whether it's a dominant big with good guards or great guards with an okay, it's kind of pick your poison, if you will. And Nathan, the deadline to withdraw and keep your college eligibility is June 13th. So
plenty of time
to sit and wonder what's going to happen. I believe the combine's in May. So we'll see what happens there. But no, I think it's when it comes to, are you going to go bigs or are you going to go guards? It's truly just a pick of poison.
And as of right now, you look at the roster and Malik Thomas, I mean, this is still 26, 27 because they have not decided. I mean, outside of Darius Acuff, I mean, which he's still listed on the 26 because he's not made anything official yet. But when you look at Malik, you got JJ Andrews coming in, Torrey coming in, Jordan Smith. I mean, 6'3", 6'5", 6'6". Malik Thomas at 6'4". You're going to need you're going to need some height. You're going to need some people coming in. Billy Richmond, 6'6". I just worry about, again, watching them play against Arizona and just how even the guards were outworking them physically.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, we're going to have another 20, 25 win season. What team are we going to go up against? You look at what Louisville's doing in the portal and the money that they're spending. Holy crap. It's almost like you're having to even go above. All right, John Tyson, I see what you're doing, big boy, but hold my beer. And I don't know where Louisville's getting their money from. I don't know if it's Papa John's money or what, but they're going all out. And what I'm afraid of is, even with Arkansas having the bag they have, you're almost going to get into a football situation where one man is not going to be able to fund a full basketball team. What we thought, we thought 6 million would get you a good basketball roster, and boy, were we wrong. If you supposedly have people coming in expecting $3 to $4 million when they're averaging not even a double, is absurd when you're looking at these bigs. And is that because, again, when we're talking about transitioning from college to NBA, they know they're going to get their money in college because they know they're not going to get in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Tough decision, tough spots for coaches to be in. And I mean, it's one reason why we're seeing more and more coaches decide to call it quits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the world we live in. But until this thing settles down, until that money starts, the asking price, and that's what it's either going to come to. The people giving the money are going to realize it's not worth it, especially if you have the same 2 or 3 teams winning it. I think that's what's going to happen for everything to go down. Because now, if this turns into like an Indiana football situation where let's say Louisville wins it all next year, if they know that could be, to me, honestly, the worst thing for college basketball if we want things to regulate. Because if we know every year the team that spends the most money is going to have the best chance to win it all, that's what we're going to keep getting. If we know we can go spend $20 million, think about what we were talking about, Ohio State spending $20 million on a football roster. And now we're seeing Kentucky spending 20 to 22. If somebody gets the scouting right, and this Louisville pays 25, 30 grand or 30 million for a basketball roster, you're getting 6 million for your starting 5, and it's paying off national championships. Guess where the market's going to go?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need 2 John Tysons if now you're going to compete for a national championship, or if Cal's just good enough with getting his guys to the NBA, which that's what we've said all along, that we think this is going.
We need collective bargaining.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, but other than that, just, when you see this basketball program, you get excited at them because when Cal came and you had John Tyson, but I did not see the way college sports evolves as fast as it does. And again, when you're the only one who's doing things a certain way, and now everybody's caught up to you and surpassed you, now it falls back. Now it's going to go back where Hunter Yurchek, and I know we're going to beat this like a dead horse, but it's automatically going to end up falling back on his shoulders because John Tyson's doing everything he can. Coach Cal's doing everything he can. But it's getting to the point where only one man can do this job, and it's not enough. And guess what? Where's the money going to have to come from? Mm-hmm. And if he's not willing to do that, guess what? You're going to be that almost get there guy. We almost got to the Final Four. We almost got to the Elite Eight. And that's where I really fear how many more years of this basketball program are we going to be able to enjoy.
As long as they get conference championships, that's all he cares about.
Yeah. All you need is 6 or 7, that's all you need is just a few conference championships, and that keeps his job. So, before we wrap things up, kind of on a personal note, had a chance to go out to my local town here in Mulberry, and where the company I work for, and be a part of the United Way Day of Caring. Go to Mulberry City Park and help out for their Day of Caring. So I want to give a good shout out to the United Way of Fort Smith. Had over 800 volunteers all throughout the River Valley. And I think the coolest thing is the fact that I got to come to the town I live in and help with the gardening project. I helped de-weed a flower bed, but it's little things. You didn't have to go to Fort Smith and do these things in town and be a collective deal. You got to choose where you wanted to go volunteer. So shout out to everybody who was a part of that Day of Caring today in the River Valley. And also, Adam, I don't know if you've seen this guy. I told him that I would give him a shout out tonight. There's a guy on TikTok who has been going around Fort Smith. Hopeful One is their TikTok handle. Hope Fuel 1, HOPEFUEL. Going around Fort Smith, I come across this video and paying for people's pizzas, going and feeding the homeless, taking pizzas and roses to nursing homes. If you have a chance, I'm going to put this up on, let me see right quick, or Adam, if you can grab it for me real quick. Put Hope, his TikTok channel is Hope Fuel 1 at Hope Fuel 1. Go follow his page. Give him some
number one or the word.
The number one. Just the number one. Yeah. Hope Fuel 1. Yeah, there we go. Go follow him on TikTok, man. Especially in the Fort Smith area, man. You know, this is one thing I really want to strive to start doing on top of what we do with Razorback Sports, and start shouting out these people who do things in the community. Again, you see, I hang the Special Olympics flag behind me every show. I'm a big part of the Special Olympics. Autism Speaks, autism awareness, anything we can do to help nonprofits. But seeing somebody on their own go out, and I was just watching videos of what he was doing. And I mean, this dude was going out and buying 100 pizzas. He'd go to Taco Bell and buy 40 meals. I mean, it wasn't just these small gestures. Somebody is going out of their way to make a difference. And I think on top of the sports, on top of everything else that's going on in the world today, we need to see more stuff like this. So please, if you would do anything for us here at the Hawg Talk, go follow the page, go like his videos, and go see what one person can do, what one person, they can make a big difference in people's lives around River Valley or around the whole state of Arkansas.
Go check them out.
Adam, you got anything else?
I do not.
All right. Well, that will do it for this episode of the Hawg Talk podcast. Want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Don't forget, Sunday, 6:05, Hawg HQ Live comes 8:05 every Sunday, and we'll be back with you on Monday at 6:05. For Adam Hall, I'm Porter Hayes. Want to thank everybody for joining in, and we will catch you on Monday.